Free Fire is a movie that I found out about around 2 hours before I went to see it. So long story short for you guys, myself and my stepbrother, we were looking for a movie to see this past weekend. We heard that Free Fire was getting some decent reviews, and so that's what we decided on seeing. So I guess now I'm going to talk about it with you guys because that's what I do on YouTube. I gotta say though, Free Fire is going to be a really tough movie to do a spoiler talk for because it's probably one of the simpler movies I've seen in quite a while. So the movie essentially revolves around these two groups of people who meet up at this abandoned warehouse for an arms deal. And during this arms deal, one person on one side says something that really pisses off another guy on the other side. That dude pulls a gun and shoots that dude. And now we have a Mexican standoff between these two sides. On one side, you have Charlton Copley, Armie Hammer, Brie Larson, and Cillian Murphy. And on the other side, you have the other people. I will say, the way this firefight, if you will, starts off, I think is really good. You know, you got guns going off, you got people getting hit, you got tension that's building. There's also moments where the two sides are really banting with each other back and forth, and it's actually delivering some good dialogue. And at first, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, oh, okay, this might be a little bit like Pulp Fiction. You know, we got some good dialogue going on, and then, you know, we have the big firefight that ends it, and then we're gonna get into the movie. No, not the case. This firefight in this warehouse is the entire movie. And that for one just makes this movie incredibly simple, but at the same time, I can't help but say I kind of wanted a little bit more throughout it. Because I will say there are the moments where the dialogue is great, it's awesome, it's really sucking you in, it's building tension, but then there are moments where I was just kind of losing interest because the movie doesn't do a great job at really building on these characters. I mean, the characters, for the most part, they're there. So as a result of that, you know that not all of the dialogue is really going to hit with you. And as a result, the movie's going to feel kind of slow for a while. And because at a point when the movie's going on as long as it is, and it's in that one setting, you eventually do kind of figure out where it's going to go. You know, how it's eventually going to end. You know, this deal between these two sides, it has completely fallen apart, and now their intent is to just kill each other. And that's literally how the movie goes. You know, the people just start getting picked off one by one. You know, the guy who shot first, dead. The guy who talked shit first, dead. Charlton Copley, yeah, he's dead. And then the end of this movie just gets whittled down to Armie Hammer and Cillian Murphy. They're both just wounded from all the bullets they've been taking. But then Brie Larson comes back because they let her go earlier in the movie because she's a woman. She kills Armie Hammer, accidentally wounds Cillian Murphy, which she didn't mean to do because she was actually growing to like him. And then as she's leaving the warehouse with the money in the briefcase, the police show up, and that's literally the end of the movie. Yeah, I get it, guys. That's really not a whole lot to say for a movie, but that's really all I can say for it, in a spoiler talk anyway. But all in all, I will say, as simple of a movie that Free Fire was, I enjoyed it. The characters were solid, the actors that are in this movie, they do a good job for what they need to do. I mean, did any of them give some of the most memorable performances ever? No, I mean, we've seen all these actors be great, and here they just knew they had to do what they had to do. But they did their jobs well. The writing, for the most part, is actually really good. Some of it really did build tension and really did suck you into the movie. The firefights, when they do happen, are very enjoyable. There are some shots that people take and you just look at it like, oh yeah, you're not gonna walk that off. And in the end, although this movie is certainly not even in the same class as something like Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs, it did remind me a little bit like those movies, and in the end, it's a movie I had fun with. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.